All right, hello. Per usual, I'm going to ask if everyone can hear me, and then we'll get started. I'm also going to ask it in the chat as well. Just let me know if you can hear me in the chat, and then I'll get right into it. But the purpose of this video is I wanted to go over some of the all the things that we have in Q1 for Dogecoin, and kind of like my expectations for Dogecoin in Q1. And I think that we all have expectations, and just kind of want to just put mine out there because I know that some people they're bearish now or they're bullish and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like goes and comes. But I want to know this will break down Q1 as I see it, and then of course we can always exchange ideas in the chat so that way we can kind of have like a meeting of the minds. So I want to go through some of the catalysts that I have here first, because I think that is the biggest part, and I'm also going to relay that into the message of what would kind of happen if we do have a break to the downside, and how those catalysts are actually really a blessing. And I've explained this in individually in chats and in one of my videos over the course of the past week, but I think it's really important that for a community that we understand that how just important these catalysts are, and not just for the sake of our investment or sending it to the moon, but just overall for the coin's health and longevity. So we know that for Q1, we have several catalysts that are coming up, right? We have Tesla integration. We are assuming that it's going to be in Q1, but we don't have a concrete date. We just have Elon's word, but he always delivers. So that's kind of just looming out there. We don't have a concrete date, but we know that I guess it's somewhat safe to assume it's going to happen this year, but we know that we have the Tesla integration as far as for merch, and then he's going to evaluate that and kind of go from there. We also have the AMC, which has been confirmed a few days ago by Adam Aaron himself, the CEO of AMC, that he still expects Dogecoin's integration into AMC to be able to purchase any of the concession stuff or pretty much anything that you can do online with AMC. He still expects that to be on track for Q1 integration, right? We just had word as far as for GameStop, they're looking to do the same thing. Then, of course, we have the Doge One and everything. And from last I heard, that was scheduled for around mid-March, which is still technically Q1. Now, when we look at these catalysts, we see a lot of, okay, well, because of these catalysts, and we have the Robinhood wallets too. But when we look at these catalysts, you'll say we see a lot of, okay, this is going to propel us to the moon. This is going to add this much value and stuff like that. While it does have the opportunity to do so, I want to look at the bigger picture and say that this also helps the longevity of the coin. Because when you say that, okay, what if we do go into a bear market? What if the Fed does tighten greatly on the amount of money that they're injecting via bonds and stuff into the market? What does that mean for coins like Dogecoin? And I've even seen some people comment and say that, okay, well, I think it's going to kind of cancel out each other. And I don't believe that's the case. I believe that I made a video, I think last week, and I called it the crypto purge. And it's saying that if we do have a break to the downside and we go into a bear market or something like that, a lot of these cryptos aren't going to make it. So you have to kind of count it as a blessing that Doge has these catalysts coming up that are going to keep it strong and give it the strength that it needs in Q1, and ultimately just keep it going for past this. If we do go into a recession or just have like a sharp correction or a break to the downside, Doge One will have those catalysts to kind of add fuel to it so that it's able to survive. Because in crypto is no different from any other sector. You survive by how quickly you're able to innovate. So if you are slow to innovate and slow to adapt, you will be replaced. So that's one of the things why I'm really excited for Dogecoin and how quickly we are getting these catalysts and these integrations, and that's really just it's really just the strength and the size of the community that is doing that. It's not really anything else besides like the massive amount of support that the community has and how we're pushing for utility, and we have to use that for our advantage in Q1. So I expect Dogecoin, when we have these, my expectations for in general is for us to take advantage of those opportunities that are presented to us in Q1, that we're actually able to use Dogecoin for purchases and these integrations, so that we can have some really big numbers put up that we're using Dogecoin, and this will ultimately attract larger retailers and more retailers. This is what's happening, that we're actually going to take away like that meme stigma. Like when you have these numbers and you see that, oh wow, look at all these people that are willing to conduct business in Dogecoin, and Dogecoin is like literally booming. This type of news and media, that's what's going to eliminate that meme stigma. This is what's going to like solidify Dogecoin as the preferred method of payment, because you'll see these different catalysts saying that, oh, we're going to accept Dogecoin and we're going to accept Shiba and we're going to accept Bitcoin. That's because there hasn't been a clear deciding factor as far as for which way the community is going to go, as far as for what it's going to be like the best way to conduct purchases in large amounts and stuff like that. And once we have the numbers come back, we're going to have a strong indicator of obviously who's the preferred method of payment. And for the longevity and everything, that needs to be us. And I believe it will be. I'm not worried about that at all. But I believe that this is going to be the main catalyst that's going to be like the first domino in breaking that cycle of like the meme coin, and it's a joke, and that will be, once these numbers come back and you have things like the Doge One satellite and stuff like that, and that's international press, and it's going to bring in a lot of different a lot of eyes to Dogecoin. I think that that's going to be the one of like the major breaks to the foundation of the coin and changing the trajectory of it. That's just part one. The second part is going to be government money, and that is, or institutional money, and that's not necessarily directed at Dogecoin, saying that's going to be injected into Dogecoin. But those of you who know, I've talked about in my last few videos that the Fed has said that they're looking to tighten money up in around March or April, right? And that's kind of why we had this sell-off briefly last week, because it's spreading like a little bit of fear in the market. We're not going to know for sure how aggressive this is going to be until we get closer to those time frames. So the market may even get like a rebound in between now and then. That was just the initial reaction to the news. Remember, media controls the price in the short term. Nothing beats, good press, bad press, the facts and all that kind of stuff. That always matters later. The facts will come and correct it, but media and hype and, just general news, that's always moves at the speed of lightning. So we may even see a rebound until we actually get the actual numbers that the Fed is going to restrict these injection of money. Depending on how aggressive that will be, that will determine I'll say like the rally of the market, because right now we're kind of going to be, we may possibly just stop trending downward and just trend kind of like sideways because of the uncertainty until that point. But that's what I was speaking with someone. They were saying that, oh, okay, we're still technically, in like a bull run. And, when you look at the numbers, even like Bitcoin numbers or a lot of these coins, as far as for the highs that we hit, a lot of those numbers would not have been hit if it weren't for government intervention, right? So, these numbers are somewhat inflated anyway. So when you say that, okay, well, we're going to capitalize and resume the bull run, you have to understand that we have to have a measurement of the economy after the government money is removed. Like, this is why we're having record inflation, because of the amount of money that they've been pumping in since the pandemics, it was raining money and PPP loans and everything else. This is why the stock market, crypto market, real estate market, everything's a runaway train. because of the amount of money that's coming in. But when that money stops, we're going to get an idea of what the actual economy looks like. And for the people that have been afraid, saying that, okay, well, will Dogecoin go down and test some of those lower support levels? If we can look at Bitcoin, I've said it out there several times. I defend it every day on my channel when I say that I believe Bitcoin is going to go down and touch about $20,000 before it ultimately goes into six figures. And in the event that that happens, whether that's because of collateral restrictions or the actual Fed tightening of the belt, that would mean that those would go down and touch some of those other support levels. And that's fine. This is, if you look at the charts, which is why I have this one up here, and I even posted the link in my community section when I was talking about corrections about 8-9 months ago. And I said that it is historically accurate for coins to correct 50 to 80%, on the extreme side, 90%. Dogecoin is still within that window. And it has not done anything for and we've seen crypto winters. We've seen, even if you look at some of your favorite coins, you can look at Bitcoin. We've seen this last 6 months, 7 months, 11 months, 2 years. We've seen this. Dogecoin has done absolutely nothing to indicate that it's dead. That is emotion. So speaking, when you see these comments, we see these people that say these things, that is absolute emotion. That's why I have this chart up here. What you have, you don't there is no indication of a rug pull or anything. And if you look at this, when you have a gap up, like that gap between, I believe it was 6 and 20 cents or something like that. Technically speaking, even if we would have not had the support to kind of catch it when we're coming down, it would not have been abnormal if we had a gap back down, because technically speaking, even though we haven't reached that support level yet, there isn't really any support there, because we literally just shot up because of the amount of volume that was coming in. This is really strong indicators. And the fact that we've been holding this line literally for months, that's bullish as hell. It's not a, literally I want to say a ping pong, but we're not breaking the support line and they're just okay, where is the support line? And we're having to do averages and look at SMAs and stuff like that. No, we can without any looking at any, you don't have to pull MACD or RSI or anything like that. You can visually look at this chart and see where it's holding up. And to me, that is a very strong support line. And that really provides me comfort, especially what's going on here. And again, if we get that breakdown to the downside, we're looking at 12 cents on the extreme side. And the next level of support obviously will be around that 6 to 8 cents, probably closer to 6 cents. The highs and the lows as far as what I'm looking for. If we get the break to the downside, again, we have some light resistance at around 12 cents, and historically that's accurate. And I know it's a little difficult to gauge buying pressure at that point as far as for it being oversold, but it would have to be something really extreme for literally probably the Fed pulling the plug in order for us to get down to 6 cents. But that is on the charts. And as far as for timing it, I don't know what everyone's DCAs are, but I would not try and time the market. That is typically never a good idea. If you have $500, $1,000 you want to put in my opinion, I just break that up maybe weekly and just do kind of continuous investing. You kind of dollar cost average that way. But as far as for timing it, that's really unpredictable. And when you get prices of something like Dogecoin, when it starts dipping that far below its moving averages and stuff, it's hard to say who is going to come in or how much money is going to come in. And it may literally be like a flash where it's 10 cents, 12 cents, and then boom, it's taken off again. And I don't want anyone to have missed opportunities to increase coin count at 15 cents because they're waiting on 12 or 6. And now we're sitting at 22. The next thing I want to cover is the profits, because we've been sitting here so long at around 15 cents. On the next bull run, I know some of you who have been in the coin for a while. prepare for there to potentially be a sell-off at around 25 to 30 cents. Typically, if you have people that are not long-term who are going to be trying to take profit or simply trading the coin and stuff like that, and for coins that drop below their SMAs with the community as large as Dogecoin, it is relatively easy to trade and make money. So when you see things like that, especially around some of these really big catalysts, expect them to come in and take positions and count on these catalysts to kind of get a boost so that they can quickly take profit. So that's not it's not anything abnormal, right? So you can kind of expect that. So let's talk about Robinhood. Robinhood wallets, I think beta comes out, I want to say this week or next week. They'll start rolling them out from what I read. So I'm expecting them to come out this week or next week. Again, depending on how long you are in the coin, I recommend cold wallets versus keeping them on brokerage accounts. But you guys got more than welcome to do what you want. But it also just depends on how long you're going to be, invested into the coins. But I do recommend having them in a cold wallet. But when you look at these types of things, you kind of got to keep up with the news and like Brandon said here, the algorithms. There's a lot of different variables in there. Let's see. Thank you, Brandon. The chart proves it's not based off news; it's algorithms. Absolutely. Yeah, this is what I was speaking about earlier. The news only controls the short term, so you can get like those flash crashes or that swing of emotion that sends a coin kind of like a certain direction, but long term, the facts and all that kind of stuff are going to matter more than the actual news. So you just kind of got to be able to weed through that to make the best decisions for your portfolio overall. Let's see, will there be a problem with U.S.-based residents? Let's see, I'll put it up here. This is the question I just asked from Brandon, and again, thanks, Brandon. Let's see. Let's see. Will there be a problem with U.S.-based residents to move crypto from Robinhood? Excellent question. Robinhood has had a lot of issues in the past. I don't know how that's going to play out. We'll see going forward, because I think one of the reasons, at least in my opinion, one of the reasons that this has taken so long is because Robinhood, just press-wise, cannot afford that kind of hiccup again. So, or to have like some type of security issue here. So I'm assuming that they are working very strategically to prevent any hiccups or problems with this. So I would like to hope that this will go smoothly and that they covered all their bases, but it's really hard to gauge because Robinhood has had a history of, I'll just say, some funny things happening at really bad times, right? So, that's anybody's guess at that point. Let's scroll back up. Oh, geez. Let's see. Oh, geez. Can't explain how important mining script coins and transferring coins and swapping coins create velocity and demand, prove utility, then adoption. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you, especially, I'll probably cover the mining and stuff for like in a day or so. I have a few other things I'm working on, but yeah. So as far as for the push to getting demand for the coin and getting it out there and having the utility, and ultimately what we're pushing for is through the utility options that we have now. We're pushing for greater adoption via the support that we're going to have, the options that we have now. These are all great steps and big steps in the right direction. And I'm really, really excited for Dogecoin going forward. We've done a lot. If you look at, because most people, I believe my first investment in Dogecoin was January 28th of last year. When you look at the fact that most people were not even in Dogecoin this time last year, and when you look at the fact that the amount of people that have come into Dogecoin and the excuse me, the just the progress we've made in the last year. Went from a joke coin that was going around on TikTok that was being tweeted to SNL presentations, being mentioned like all over the world, being one of the top performing cryptos of 2021, over 11,000% at its peak, to being adapted by the largest movie chain in the world, to being the first crypto in space, and it's been an incredible year. So I think that we're going to. I think that this year we're literally going to capitalize off a lot of the groundwork that was laid last year. So pushing forward demand and that adoption is going to be really huge this year. And I think that if we do our part and actually embrace some of these companies that are embracing us, we're going to capitalize off of a lot of the hard work, and this is going to lay the groundwork to us having stability in the coin, and also, getting us to go to the moon. And really, it'll be really rewarding for a lot of us early pioneers of Dogecoin, especially for one of those that, especially for those of us that held. Let's see. I'm under the belief we don't actually know how much is in a crypto until it has its blow off top. It's like a grand reveal. You agree? Thanks, Brandon. How much is in a crypto? I'm assuming you mean like market cap. How much is in a crypto? We have an idea as far as for like a general idea as far as for how much money is in, if this is what you mean. And I actually brought that up tonight on my one of my patrons brought that up tonight on our Zoom call. We were talking, they're saying how many coins actually exist. Like, so how do we know coins are not worth actually more than what they should be? Like, even like Bitcoin being an example, like we'll say there's this many Bitcoins, but how many of them have been lost? So how many of them that will never actually enter back into circulation? And if you take something like that and apply it to Dogecoin, it's probably, I say probably, I'm almost certain there's a lot less coins out there than we imagine. So as far as for how much is in there, it's highly likely, if we don't do come up with some form of way to count these coins, the ones that are actually in circulation or the ones that people actually still have access to, it'd actually be difficult to get a really appropriate evaluation. But as far as for the actual count, we typically have like those estimates when we have the measuring sticks that kind of go into the different coins as far as the buying pressure and stuff. It works similar to the stock market, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that we have a lot of catalysts coming up, especially if we don't have anything looming from the press, or not the press, the Fed, that they don't say anything crazy. I think that we can get a lot of great momentum in Q1, which is a part of my expectations. That's what I covered earlier in the video. So I hope that's what you meant. If not, you can just clarify. I bought in 2018 and still holding. Congrats. I know you are well into the green. Does Dogecoin have any connections to Doge Elon coin? No, they're doing their name plays. I mentioned Dogecoin, Elon coin in my top 5 as far as like cash grabs for this year. Nothing to go long in, but there is fully capable of having a good pump, so it may give you an opportunity to make some quick cash. Script coins have the advantage of low fees, but we have to be the network with miners. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the things, that's one of the advantage, even especially the low fees. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the advantages that Doge has over a lot of the other coins that are technically competing to be in its spot. So, we just kind of have to play to our strengths here and literally keep building and innovating, whether that be with mining and stuff like that, so that we can maintain our competitive edge and keep evolving. So I'm not sure where you logged into the video, but it's one of the things I said earlier. Evolution is a really big part, especially in a new space like crypto. That's ultimately going to determine longevity. So as long as we're evolving and growing, I believe we'll be A-okay. Oh, and I just want to put this out there. I have no idea how many likes on this video, but if you have not yet, please like this video. It helps YouTube share it. And also, I will welcome you to join the channel. So this is really great. So I hear you echo. But if you have not yet, yeah, definitely I welcome you to the channel to subscribe if you haven't yet. So let me know, what are some of the expectations that you guys have. I laid out mine in the beginning of this video as far as like price ranges and stuff. And I think that it's going to be really healthy that we have these catalysts coming out prior to the, the Fed's announcement, and depending on which way that may go at the end of Q1. So I'm really bullish. Regardless, these catalysts are great news. So I don't think that, we're in bad shape either way it goes. So, if it does go down, I'm looking to, increase my coin count, but we have an idea where that support line is going to be. Let's see. I'm seeing Doge went from 5 billion to 100 billion in 2 weeks last blow off top. It's like a cold storage that comes out at the blow off top. Oh yeah. I think that around its peak, Doge was a little over like 80 billion. And this is one of the things that it's like it's in cold storage that comes out of the blow off top. Yeah, I think that. So here's my theory, especially going around this time. This is one of the reasons why I named my other video the crypto purge. So my theory here is, even at some of the prices that we've seen and Doge breaking through some of those support levels when it went down, I believe that because of the market expanding, that Doge and some other cryptos as well, but I don't believe I haven't seen evidence of another coin that has been copied as much as Doge. So I believe that because of the market expansion and the amount of money that has been pulled out of Doge to, it's called shiny object syndrome, to reap those similar gains somewhere else, I think that it consolidated much quicker than what it should have. So when you look at the momentum that it took to go from 5 billion to 100 billion, that was in a time where the options were not as vast as they are now. And so now I think the crypto market, I believe Doge is mostly responsible for the growth and stuff that we've seen in the crypto market. But now you have a lot of other coins, a lot of those other coins communities that are actually pushing that, this is the next Dogecoin, or this is going to do better than Dogecoin. So it's more competitive. So we're going to need, so after this kind of purge, I think it's going to be like almost like a market reset. So we're going to have the opportunity to show, what coins are actually strong in their positions, and which ones are actually going to either not exist or fall off anymore. And then we're able to see some similar games like that. Because when you have coins, whether they're in like a cold storage, and when we have the amount of volume, in that short time frame, it's just typically propelled by catalysts. And then you'll have, like, obviously selling pressure and buying pressure and stuff like that. But and when you have that volume coming in at that amount of short time, that's more of it being focused and saying that, okay, well, this is all geared toward Dogecoin, because in that time frame where Dogecoin is literally doing these gap ups, Dogecoin was dominating press. Like, Dogecoin was everywhere. It was all about Doge. So we may be able to have an opportunity to do something similar to that around the time of the actual wallet. So not the wallet, excuse me, around the time the actual Doge won, because I think that'll be the biggest catalyst to have a lot of the press's attention, and this will be like really like an international event. So I think that when this is running like that, and we have like I'm not sure how they're going to paint it up or what the rocket's going to look like and all that kind of stuff, but I think that's would be the opportunity where we can kind of like replicate some of that success that we had here last year. So hopefully we can get some of that momentum again. Non-Doge question: what's the utility or likely adoption of a coin like ETC? I don't think so. When it comes down to ETC, I think most of the money that's in there is not uh, geared toward actually advancing it into like a utility um, forefront. In my honest opinion, I think that most of the money that's in ETC is literally because it's like an alternative to like an official alternative. So not like they're trying to like jack it or something like that. But I think most of the money that's in there is because it's a lot cheaper than the actual Ethereum. So I think that it's like a way that we can get Ethereum exposure without Ethereum's money put in there. So I think that I don't think it's a lot likely to have like a great adoption, at least not right now, especially when you have the Ethereum network evolving and branching out because because Vitalik is actually looking to work with Dogecoin on creating a bridge. So if it was that was like a thing, I'd imagine he would work on like Ethereum's network or something like ETC. That would make more sense if that was going to be the future of that coin. So I don't think that it's very likely at all. Looking at any metaverse coins, I like Mana. I mentioned that I think my last live, but that's the one I own the most. I think it's going to do very well. What about Dogecoin coins? That part of Dogecoin? Absolutely not. It is that's literally the theme as far as for why they name these coins like that. Is because that's what they want you to think. They want you to think that they're similar, and it helps. It grabs attention. That's one of the things that the advantages that you have in the stock market that you don't have in the crypto market. And I mentioned this a while ago. You can get away with a lot of things because of there's very little legislation in the crypto market. If I tried to open up a baby Walmart or a little Amazon, I'd be in big trouble. But things like this kind of work in the crypto market, so I can kind of skip my marketing dollars or actually building, something of value because I can just name it something else and get free press and immediate recognition. I can skip a lot of that build-up phase. So be just kind of be careful with that. Because those things, that's why I say don't be long in any of them because they do have the ability to pump. But, just I personally wouldn't look at them any more than just quick cash grabs. Let's see. My prediction is similar. Once Doge starts to go up due to some catalyst, people will start to leave some of the other Doge-like coins that they've jumped into and hop back on the Doge train. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, especially when because I believe that even if we have a break to the downside, a lot of the coins are going to disappear. I don't believe Doge will be one of them. So once we have like that, solidifying evidence that okay, Doge just went through a few cycles. Doge has, it's rallied, it's corrected, it's rallied again, and it's we start having that data because right now we technically when it comes down to like bull runs, all this kind of stuff like that, we're still basically operating on less than a year of data. But once we start having, these actual cycles, we actually have a decent time frame to look at it over, you're going to realize that, okay, well, Doge is here to stay. So this is giving an opportunity to, um, attract more money and new investors and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be really rewarding for the people that have been holding. Um, Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum. Yes, the original BTC, I think. Yeah, no, I'm not. I guess maybe I explained it wrong, but yeah, what I was saying was I don't think that because I know you can say like, oh, Ethereum 2.0 and stuff like that, and they do make these improvements. I think maybe I explained it backwards, but um, when you have like ETC and stuff like that, I don't think that because Ethereum has gapped it by so much, I don't think that and this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. ETC could go to the moon next week. I don't know, but um, I think that as of right now, Ethereum is at the forefront and just improving that network. And like ETC is just kind of a way to literally get exposure to some of those trends. But again, that's just my opinion, and that can be literally incorrect. Let's see. These other Doge coins are knockoffs, including Shiba Inu. Yeah, so my thing is, even with coins like Shiba and stuff like that, because you have the opportunity, if you because you can make money in anything, right? But if you have the opportunity to time it right, you can make a decent amount of money, even life changing if you get in correctly. Um, the thing is, when you say it's just the marketing behind these opportunity, the marketing behind these coins is when they attach themselves. So you have to consider it. You can say what you want, but you have to consider it what it is, which is a knockoff. Because the reason you know what it is in the first place, the reason you've ever even heard of it, is because of the marketing that it did to attach itself to Dogecoin. So, and even and that marketing continued all the way up until Elon basically posted on, he made a post on Twitter blatantly saying that he doesn't own any, but the trail was already following the coin completely. And even now, Doge, Shiba. So when you say that, what is it? Like utility. When we say that we want Dogecoin to be accepted by AMC, and Adam Aaron did the poll, what happened immediately after that? The Shiba community was like, oh, okay, accept Shiba too. So then he did the Shiba poll, and then you have some of these other catalysts. Like, okay, well, we're going to take Dogecoin and Shiba because now that it's literally like kind of like neck and neck technically because they're following so closely the literally like the blueprint that Doge has put out. And again, like when I bought Shiba, I was very transparent. I'm not saying that you can't make money with Shiba, but you have to call it for what it is. And if I made a little Lewis coin after yours, and I named it after your successful coin and started naming all the catalysts, it's a knockoff. It's so you just kind of got to call it for you got to call a spade a spade. But as of right now, the community is growing. Their community is growing, which is one of the reasons why I said it has the capability of doing like some huge runs. Because at the end of the day, what matters, or titles, or who was first, and all the other kind of stuff, that matters less than the actual community support. So if you own the coin or support the coin, at the end of the day, it ultimately comes down to community and innovation. That's going to decide winners and how far an actual coin goes. David, my Dogecoin DCA is 25 cents. I have $300 I can blow. Should I put in $20 or even $10 increments just in case it keeps dropping, or should I just throw it all in right now? You can, I mean, if you're looking to spread it out, I'd say you could probably do it like weekly, because the market probably, it can get a rebound, because I think the market just kind of overreacted to the news last week about the Fed. So some people are probably going to take profits, but we don't know. The truth of the matter is we don't know what degree that they're going to start cutting back. So the Fed, I mean, that sell-off could have been well warranted, or it could have been, an overreaction. So I don't want you to, miss out on an opportunity or say it's going to go much lower than what it is right now, and it may not. This may very well be the floor that holds up before it heads back the other direction. We don't know yet, but I'd say probably even with that amount of money, you can do it. You can spread it out over the course of like a week, or every week or so. You can probably, if we have the opportunity, you'll give yourself at least a chance to capitalize off of some of those lower prices. But if we get a break to the upside and we start creeping back up toward, especially if we break like 19, 20 cents, then of course you may want to be more aggressive just to go ahead and bring your DCA down. But I think overall these prices are great, especially at this current support line. So I wouldn't beat myself up too much about it. Over 176 million worth of Dogecoin removed by whales. Yeah, they've been moving a lot of the money's been moving around. I expect more to happen, especially as we get closer to the end of Q1. They're going to set up a lot of movements to go to free up money and stuff like that, especially for the ones that are really deep into profits. If the money's tightening up, they're going to have to cover a lot of those positions and puts and stuff that they have in the stock market. You can expect that's the appropriate time for all the bear catalysts and stuff like that. You can expect a huge sell-off at that point for sure. Just discovered your channel a few weeks ago. You really do a great job. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. ETC can give you a sort of a lever exposure to Ethereum movement. Thank you. RIP Bobson, aka Danny Tanner. Yeah, I heard about that. Absolutely. Yeah, RIP for sure. I just read about that maybe an hour ago. Buy the dips. Always. Absolutely. Yeah, if you are long, buy the dips. That is definitely the way to go. So Shiba Inu is a knockoff Dogecoin for sure. Also, Elon doesn't have any backing for Shiba, but so many people think he does just because of his puppy. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, especially when he got the dog. I remember when that happened. But yeah, at the end of the day, it definitely comes down to community and the willingness that they have to support the coin. So we'll see. And actually, I did a video a few months ago, and it was pretty much speaking to the competitive nature of the market. And what I was saying was, it's possible to have multiple coins, especially after they settle into different niches and stuff like that, that provide the same function. But you just have certain coins that function in certain parts of the market. And I compared it to credit card processing. I did like a MasterCard, a Visa, American Express. What's the other one? I'm drawing a blank here. But yeah, anyway, I compared the cards to literally just different sectors, but technically they all do the same function, but they offer different things. Like you'll have different perks, or the American Express, typically you're going to have better credit. Visa, anyone can get it, but Visa has cheaper processing fees. So Visa is used more kind of like in warehouses or department stores. They'll say we prefer to use Visa, like a Costco or Sam's Club and stuff like that. So there's different advantages. So we'll see if Shiba is able to create like a niche for its own, but ultimately that's up for the people to decide. So I state facts, but I let the decision making kind of stay in everyone else's hands. But yeah, absolutely. We have to look at the facts there, and it is what it is. Robinhood will list Shiba, Doge will pump its due next, then we will pump Shiba. Yeah, I strongly believe, I said this months ago, this makes absolute sense for me. I strongly believe that Robinhood will list Shiba, because when you have the community, and I did a poll on my channel, about 30% of people said that they're going to not sell, but they said they're going to move their Dogecoin from Robinhood. And we have that amount of volume, because that's the only reason Robinhood's been losing a bunch of money. People basically stopped buying coins on Robinhood, Dogecoin in particular, and that made up a lot of revenue for them in 2021. So when you have people that are really upset and saying that they're not going to buy anymore on your platform, or they stop buying, which means you lost money, and you have a large number of people who are saying that they're going to leave the platform, you typically are looking for exposure or expansion to kind of make up for that. And the only logical thing that I could think of would be Shiba, which is going to bring in another large community who are looking to do the same thing. And so this time around, you actually offer wallets, so you can still capitalize off of those transactions and people buying it on Robinhood. And Robinhood has something to its advantage that, regardless if people are upset with him or not, you can't take it away from them. And that is, Robinhood has the simplest and easiest platform to navigate. Now, you're not going to get a lot of information, because that's why I have multiple platforms, because if I'm trading, I need to look at MACD, RSI, inflow, outflow, turnover percentages. I need to look, these are all metrics that I use, and Robinhood doesn't allow you to use them But if you're more of a, I'll say a simpler investor and you don't need those types of things, then Robinhood is going to be perfect for you. And there's a lot of people out there who just want exposure to certain coins and they're not going to do that level of research on a coin. So Robinhood has, it still has its place in the market. So I think that Robinhood will list Shiba absolutely. And when Shiba gets listed to Robinhood, you can, I'm almost certain that you can expect a rally from that. Let's see. And again, if you have not yet, please like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I welcome you to subscribe as well. You can always change your mind later. But we are closing in on 40K, so I'm just making sure that we stay on track for that. And I appreciate those of you who have liked and subscribed. Let's see, explain profit-taking strategies as the coin slowly goes up to cover your original position. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually making a series of videos that this will be one of them. So you can do it something similar to kind of like hedging. What I like to do, and this is even outside of coins, but even in stocks, when let's say I'm trading a coin, or excuse me, I'm trading a position and I'm not necessarily long on it, but I do believe there's more upside to it, right? So typically I'm looking for 20% on my money. And that's where I typically want to lock in or take profit at that point. So I got $100 in to this coin or this stock, right? And at the point that I hit $120, 20%, I'm happy with my investment and my return. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm looking, I know it's a little different in the crypto market, but at this point, I'm looking to do my hedging, saying that, okay, I want all the upside, but I'm going to limit my downside. And this is where stop losses and stuff like that come in. But typically I do those in about 2% intervals. So if I am at, and sometimes I'll liquidate the entire position and just cash out if it drops down the 2%, because I'm not risking, that way I'm locking in a guaranteed 18% profit. But if I'm still bullish and I just know that it's been acting kind of like volatile, which in the crypto market it probably is, you can probably expand that 2% to 5%. So you can say that instead of 118, you're going to cash out, but you can do it at like 115. So that way the most you're risking is 5%. You can do that. But as coins creep up, if you're not long-term, that's right. So this is only if you're not long-term. You can usually kind of like hedge it between like 2 to 5%. But crypto, you kind of got to play that to whatever crypto you're invested in, because those margins are going to have to adjust depending on the volatility. And again, we know news and everything can kind of throw those numbers off. But that really only works best as if you're short term in the coin, because if you're long term, you may hit those numbers, but it's not going to mean anything. Like I'm long Bitcoin, but so if it goes down, I only want a notification because I want to buy more. It's not because I'm trying to limit my downside, because ultimately I believe it's going to go up. So that is primarily what I do to make sure that I cover my original position and make sure I don't lose it. And same thing if it never goes up as well. So if you have $100 and it goes down, saying you can use that same ratio, or if you adjust it for your particular coin based off of the volatility, you say, okay, well, I'm not losing any more than 2 to 5% of my original position. Because a lot of times what happens is the crypto market is so volatile. When you invest in a coin, you put $100 in and it goes down to like 80, and you say, okay, well, it's going to go up, and the dip keeps dipping, and sometimes it does work out. It can go down to 80 and then shoot up to 150. So you kind of have to do the research on the coin and also align that with your exposure. But the best thing I can tell you for situations like this is going to be, when you decide your numbers, stick to them. Do not adjust them mid market or what's going on, or you read this article or this YouTuber said this. If your numbers are 2 to 5%, you stick to it like it is law, and that will save you. You will leave some money on the table, but you have two choices: either you leave money on the table, or you're going to get left on the table. So it's better to more often than not, this will save you from being greedy and getting screwed. So I hope that answers your question. I tried to condense it, but I do have a series of video doing like 10 videos on new investor mistakes, and that's going to be one of them. And I'll have a playlist on my channel. So I hope that answers your question. Doge has a lot of big things coming up. Don't sell. Absolutely, absolutely. Currently holding 1.1 million Doge. Do you think more would be greed? No. No. As far as we know, you can hold as many as as your finances allow you to. Depends on your conviction in the coin. I can't say a certain number is greedy because when institutions come in, they're going to buy as much as they financially can, or as much as they need to control the direction of the coin. So, don't feel bad. Let's see. He said never enough, John. Absolutely. She will outpace Dogecoin. Dogecoin is not equipped. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like again, that's what I was saying. Like when I did the comparison with MasterCard, Visa, um, American Express, we have these different coins. They all function the same, but they all have their different own lanes. And I think that even as far something that the Dogecoin community has to do is not do like this comparison thing, because that's more so of Shiba's marketing strategy versus Dogecoin. So I think that as a community, if we don't focus so much on that comparison thing and just kind of keep innovating and keep moving forward and gaining these catalysts, then we'll let our results speak for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we'll see. That's the best thing we can do. Let's see. I'd be happy to hold for 5 years if necessary. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, long-term investors win. Like diamond hands are often rewarded in this market, but yeah, you just got to be careful when you're doing those swing trades or depending on catalysts. So I always believe that my minimum technically is 5 years. So I believe that is an excellent time frame. Excellent time frame. 20 is good, but it can be done with 1 to 5% swings to make small gains into big gains. Absolutely, that's a fact. That's just that. Yeah, those numbers as far as that 20%, that's just how I play. And you'll see. I'm not sure what level most of you are, or how long you've been trading or investing and stuff like that. But you'll come up with your own system. You'll come up with your own strategies for making money. Your favorite companies that you like to work with as you explore your favorite cryptos and your favorite plays, your percentages that you're comfortable with. Like all of these are even your methods for evaluating companies and stuff like that. You're going to settle into. And you'll learn some ways that are more accurate than others, but you'll settle into those different areas and develop a routine for yourself. That 20%, that is for me. Those are my numbers. You are more than welcome to do 1 to 5% or whatever. Those are my numbers. That's how I play. Let's see. She Army seem a little desperate. I have one more pump. I'm switching over to Doge with that also. So just for the record, not a newbie, just interested in opinion. No, I understand. No judgment here. No judgment. No judgment here from me. I have an extra 1,500 to spend. Should I drop it in Dogecoin now or wait till Bitcoin drops to around 30K? So first, I'm going to say that is a personal opinion, but I do believe that sometime we'll have an idea around March or April, but sometime this year for sure, I do believe that we're going to have a steep drop in Bitcoin just because we didn't have an actual correction last year. We had the shortest bear market in history. So Bitcoin, the opportunity to make money, when we look at the prices, especially with $1,500, you're going to have to look at the prices and the opportunity it takes to double, because you're going to have to focus more so on percentages than you do prices, right? So let's say Bitcoin is 30,000. In order for you to hit, even though Bitcoin is going to be more, if you want to say what's the risk factor, Bitcoin, I believe, has like probably like the lowest risk, just because it's the institution's chosen coin. But you have to understand the market cap is going to have to be, it moves a lot. It's going to take a lot more money overall. So if we are having aggressive uh, restrictions by the government, you just may have to wait for a while. So it's just also going to depend on how soon you're going to need the money, because to get 100% on Bitcoin at 30K, you're going to need it to hit 60, which I believe it will do again. But Dogecoin, you're looking at 30 cents, which I also believe it will do again. But it really just depends as far as on your time frame on the coin, because Bitcoin, I believe, is going to do multiple six figures, but you're going to have to look at your time frame and decide your exposure. But if you have a bunch of Dogecoin and no Bitcoin, I'd say put it in Bitcoin. Get your exposure around it, because Bitcoin is going to lead the market regardless. So just some different variables in there, but just try balancing out your portfolio and conduct how soon you would need the money. But if you're long term and you don't have any Bitcoin, I'd say go that way. Let's see. Hold on. Why do people believe you have to invest in one or the other? What is wrong with investing in both? No, nothing. No, that's no, I made a video. Like I own both. I haven't chose, I own both Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I own a little Shiba, but I do own both. Again, I think that the community has a way to, it has the opportunity to do a decent pump this year. Same thing with Doge on Mars. It has an opportunity to do a decent pump this year. I'm not long, but I do own both. So I don't think that you have to choose one or the other. I just think that because of the nature of Shiba initially, it created this unnecessary tension. And so now it's just kind of hard to get rid of it, because when you start something, or if it's in the community, it's going to always kind of be looked at like that. So it just creates this always like this comparison or something. And honestly, I believe that was the intent, obviously, of Shiba. I mean, really, you can say what you want, but it's effective marketing. That's for sure. But you can certainly own both, and I'll never tell someone to not invest in anything, even when I say after the restriction of the economy, some of these coins may not exist anymore. I just say be careful. I never tell people what coins to own and what coins not to own. Just you make your own decisions, but you are always welcome to do both. Absolutely. I'll never try and steer you away from that. So everyone is responsible for their own portfolio. Let's see. Oh wow, sorry, I'm like a little behind on these comments. I think Doge and Shiba will become the currency used by retailers. Do you agree that both crypto will increase in value as the fiat becomes destroyed? Yeah, I think that definitely Bitcoin for sure. I can definitely see institutions running into Bitcoin. I think that will ultimately lead to the market rising. But I also believe at some point we may see kind of like a Fed crypto or something like that. And I only say that because it's never been done where the government didn't have direct control over the monetary transactions of people, like whether what currency that was done in. It was never, and I think that as crypto advances and you start actually having large amounts of people doing billions of dollars in transactions, I think that the government's going to want a piece of that, because we've never seen the government pretty much give up control over the financial of the method of choice of payment. Whether that's whether we're on the gold standard or greenbacks or dollars and petrodollars, whatever, they always technically have control over it. So I think that in addition to legislation that we're going to see soon, um, we've seen them pretty much admit. I did a video on it a while ago, but they said that they're doing research on it, and they're going to conclude their research around 2025. I think that's something we can probably expect within the next 5 years. But I do see an increase overall in market cap for crypto, and as inflation starts to, continually eat away at the dollar, I expect that to be another contributing factor. Buying and selling with the cold wallet easy. I think so. I'm going to do a video on that as well. I know I said I was going to do one for cold wallets and pretty much just go over like the nano, because that's my choice, my recommended. But I think I don't think it's a difficult process. I just think that people are keeping up with it, and just being like that extra step and not just having it stored on a brokerage. I think that people just kind of being okay with sacrificing a little convenience for security. I think it'll be a smooth transition, and people will kind of get used to the process a little more. BTC at least 125. Yeah, I'm expecting by 2024, 2025, I'm expecting like 250,000 Bitcoin easily. Thanks, man. I love your channel. I appreciate you, Andrew. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the comment. Don't be greedy and get screwed. No problem. Let's see. If you have a 10-year investment timeline, basically any crypto in the top 20 right now, it's a sure bet against the inflation. Yeah, I got to pull up the numbers. I had the chart, but Dogecoin's inflation rate, deflationary, will be lower than the dollars, I want to say, in about 10 years. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to pull the chart. But yeah, so it's going to come a day. People are complaining about the Dogecoin inflation rate and stuff like that. And it's quickly going to be lower than the dollars. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a day in most of your lifetimes that it's going to, as far as purchasing power, it's going to be more stable in Dogecoin than the actual dollar. So just kind of keep that in mind. Hello. Super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. Phantom, Agro, H-bar, these will make you huge gains. Yeah, we hear a lot about Phantom. I haven't looked into it at all, but I've seen it floating around, a lot of information on it. So it's going to be something I'm going to have to look into. Yeah, and also, again, let's see. How many likes do we have on this video? I'm just curious. I can't see anything right now, but don't forget to like the video. And again, we are still pushing for 40K. So if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. You can always change your mind later. But if you found value with me here, we try to keep out the FUD and the BS and just provide information for all of you. 122. Okay, awesome. Over 100. Beautiful. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Going over my Q1 expectations, I'm expecting the Phantom. Okay. I'm expecting the catalyst to kind of provide literally a safety net if we were to take a turn to the downside, and also help us with even establishing a floor. So, think of the catalyst, regardless of what happens to the economy, regardless of what happens if we go into a downtrend or not. The catalysts are an absolute blessing in disguise, because they're giving us the teeth to weather the storm and make sure that we are remaining competitive at all times in the market, because the innovation, and there will be a coin that's going to be used as the people's currency, and it's going to be traded. And I really don't believe it's going to be Bitcoin. Even if you break Bitcoin down and trade in Satoshis and all that kind of stuff like that, I really don't believe it's going to be Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin literally has established itself as the digital gold. And I think it will be treated as such. So if the crypto market has its digital gold, what we're going to be looking for is who's going to be the digital silver, which is the poor man's currency, the one that's going to be used primarily in the currency, not the one that's hoarded for the store of value. What's going to be the day-to-day transaction? What's going to be out there in the common man hands? That has yet to be determined. And with us in the community here and Vitalik and Elon working and stuff like that, I believe we can make that choice Dogecoin. I believe Dogecoin is in an excellent position to make that happen. And again, I think a lot of the early investors, such as ourselves, we're going to have the opportunity to capitalize off of that greatly. And we're going to reap the benefits of that transition in the crypto market. So we're in great position for that. And I think that Dogecoin for being, just there in general, but it's also just brought together like a large group of people to kind of give them like a voice in the crypto market. Because when you have coins saying that, like a Ethereum or Bitcoin, and say, I want one Bitcoin, and it's like $50,000, thank God that now we have the opportunity to actually buy fractional shares and fractional coins and stuff like that. Like, a few years ago, a lot of people, especially when you're buying Bitcoin, and we're seeing that's the institutional favorite. A few years ago, a lot of people would have been SOL when it comes down to actually even having any exposure to some of these coins. So that whole fractional thing has been like literally like the best thing to happen to everything. It happened to the market in general. It's the fact that you're able to buy pieces instead of the whole thing. So I think that Dogecoin kind of eliminated that and gave us like a voice and giving people the opportunity to, play a part in the transition of wealth that's coming up here. I think a massive wealth transfer is on the way. So I just want everyone to kind of capitalize off of this, the next cycle, and make sure that most people are in positions to ride the next wave up, because I think it's going to be a great opportunity to make a lot of money. So with that being said, that is my catalyst for 2021 and my what I believe and my expectations for Q1 and other things that I believe is just going to happen. So I'm very excited for Q1 and where we're ultimately headed. So again, we're going to close now. But again, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Closing on 40K. Like the video, share it so we can all get on the same page. And just want to let you guys know, I appreciate all of you guys. I said it a few weeks ago before we closed out 2021, which was an amazing year. And I think that we're going to do amazing things this year. And we're going to get a lot done. And we're going to grow a lot. And we're going to make a lot of money this year as well. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to make some announcements over the next week as well. But I'll save that for my next live stream. So with that, I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Until next time.